choosing which model to go with. I'm a believer from what I've seen that it's going to be more of a wine kind of approach. But sometimes some of the models we've seen become biased in the answers that they give you. So how do you go about deciding which one is the right one to use at any given time?
I can give a non-technical approach purely from a business and investment perspective, and I'd love to get all the different perspectives as well. I think from choosing models, I think there is like there are there's like there's essentially three vectors. One is cost, right? How much does it cost, right? Does your business case justify that investment? So like we have a number of our founders, yeah, I want to fine tune, I want to build my own internet, but the use case does not make sense for you to do that. You can just use context learning or very good prompt engineering and get to that. So from a business perspective, what is the cost? And does the cost make sense? The second is what is the kind of operational constraint in terms of latency? How can you wait? How long can you wait for it? Do they what? So cost, latency, and the third is performance in terms of how well is it doing? How well is the model doing what it needs to do? And I think each of them are extremely important. You can have something that does a phenomenal job, but the cost is just too expensive and it doesn't scale. So I'll say from a business perspective, those are the three criteria that we look at in terms of choosing your model or your approach.
Thanks, Bola, for sharing from business perspective. I can share more from kind of technical perspective what models we use. I view this as different dimensions. So first question is that you need to choose like the model size. What type of, do you want super large models? Do you want like reasonably small models? There's of course costs associated with it. Also, it also depends on the task you want to do. So if you want to generate image, I don't think any small model has that capability. Any model that's less than 100 billion, I don't think the quality is to that point yet. So you have very limited choice. And if you are talking about generating text, there are some models that is like 15, 70 billion parameters that's reasonable. So kind of middle-sized models, that could be a good choice. And when you are into that territory, there's a lot of open source models you can choose. If you choose super big models, right now most of them are closed source. So you really don't have many options. You have cloud, you have that. That's it. If you go to like middle-sized models, like into like less than 100 billion parameters, now you have Llama, right? You have all these other open source models. Now you can start to consider about whether you want to deploy it on premise and all these other considerations you do. And if your task is not about the generation, your task is about, I want to generate a better representation of the input, like embedding, so that I will rank embedding. The example is like, for example, this house is an LBB. LBB has all these recommendations, like if you like this house, you can use like 3 other houses. It requires understanding of all the text about description of the house, but it doesn't require you to generate that thing. For that type of task, model size like about 1 billion parameters can even work really well. Like 10 billion is actually pretty big. So for that, you have tons of options to choose, and model size can be as low as like 50. So a lot of flexibility there for that. So this is model size. After you figure out that, the second thing, like when you have multiple like open source models, how do you choose which one to go? I think the first question is like you want to understand better about like the nature of the model, because depending on how the training material, and you also have a separate question. Do you want to like fine tune it or train it yourself, or do you really just want to have a very good base model? And if it's about very good base models, then you need to understand about the benchmark. So all those models, which tasks as well. And after that, then you need to figure out how to those models, the ecosystem, because some models it's very easy for you to bring up and train yourself. Some model is very hard. I think after all those sequence of decisions, you pretty much figure out what.
Okay.